Have you ever visited an Army, Navy, Air Force, or Veterans Administration hospital? Here, the government provides the very finest of medical care for the men who are still paying the price for our freedom. Do you know how long some of them have been here? This man has been hospitalized since the invasion of North Africa over 7 years ago. Think of all those months of suffering. You will find your Red Cross here. Red Cross volunteers working under the supervision of the hospital's able doctors and nurses do everything they can to add to the individual comfort and happiness of the men, many of whom are destined to remain here years to come. To you at home, it may seem ordinary to observe an anniversary, but to these men, this simple celebration brings untold joy and appreciation long to be remembered. For some, visits from relatives or friends are infrequent. When families cannot be present, your Red Cross volunteers try to provide those very necessary little friendly touches that remind the men of home. You would like to help in this heartwarming work if you could, wouldn't you? Have you ever visited a children's clinic? Have you seen Red Cross Motor Service providing necessary transportation for handicapped youngsters who sometimes must be carried scores of miles for regular treatment? The problem of moving these little patients is often very difficult for their families. Red Cross volunteers solve that by making as many individual calls for the children as are needed, striving to deliver them at scheduled times so that their recovery will not be interrupted. Nurses' aides are here, supervised by registered nurses, assisting them in many ways to relieve the heavy tasks of the hospital staff. Gray ladies do their share by keeping children occupied while waiting for treatment and during long convalescence, thus helping many hard-pressed mothers. And who knows what latent talents may be developed in these tender children through the continuous encouragement given them by members of the Arts and Skills Service. From time to time, the newspapers, radio, and newsreels bring you stories of disaster. But were you ever present at one where refugees from flood, hurricane, or fire strained all emergency facilities? Did you notice how quickly the Red Cross was on the job, providing food, clothing, and emergency aid? Here you will find members of many Red Cross volunteer services working day and night, side by side with other community agencies to ease the hardships of the harassed people. Who are the Red Cross volunteers who do this work? Why do they do it? Where do they come from? To tell you about these volunteers, we must first take you to Washington, D.C., headquarters of the American National Red Cross. Part of the great strength of this humanitarian organization lies in its army of loyal volunteer workers. Here, coordinated on a countrywide basis, needs are ascertained, policies developed, programs launched. They cover wide fields of activity: arts and skills, canteen, entertainment and instruction, gray lady, motor service, nurses' aid, production and supply, social welfare, and staff aid services. Each community, each Red Cross chapter house is a focal point of volunteer services. Herein lies the strength of its membership. New volunteers are constantly needed to fill the growing demands for its many kinds of specialized assistance. Applicants' desires and abilities are studied to determine where they can best be used. Training for specific assignments will be thorough. Motor service, for instance, teaches driving skills and regulations and qualifies the volunteer for emergency first aid. And who are needed as volunteers? Banker, carpenter, housewife, career woman, society girl, stenographer, school teacher, truck driver, machinist. People like you and me, people of all races, all religions, to give freely of their time and effort in the service of humanity. Such people are the backbone of your Red Cross. They make Red Cross the valuable community and national asset that it is. This volunteer nurse's aide may be a bank president's wife or a sales girl. Red Cross has trained her to be able to assist the nurse. She devotes hours in this service for the joy she finds in helping others. The hard-working professional nurse welcomes the friendly help of the volunteer aide and is able to give better care to more patients because of it. This service cannot be measured in mere time. Its value is beyond price. It offers no reward except the unspoken but deeply felt appreciation of those it helps. In both government and civilian hospitals, there are endless opportunities in which volunteers can be used for many important duties. And in the Red Cross National Blood Program, now playing so great a role in the lessening of human suffering, the specially trained volunteer nurse's aide is an invaluable asset. As the blood program continues to expand, more nurses' aides will have opportunity for service in this important field, not only in the donor room, but also in other departments of the blood center. A blood center cannot operate without well-managed transportation, and the motor service of the American Red Cross rolls in to do the job. Men and women drivers can always be sure of constant opportunity for useful service. Often there are emergency calls, many of them spelling the difference between life and death. Emergency calls have precedence over all other activities. Perhaps a motor service assignment will be helping the aged on their way to and from clinics. There may be service or ex-servicemen to be taken to terminals or on outings. Many men have been hospitalized ever since World War I. To them, even the simplest outing makes a wonderful holiday. Keeping the services moving is quite a task. Phone calls, records, communications, a job for volunteer staff aides. To the business girl or ex-office worker, opportunities for volunteer help are many. Hospitals, blood centers, and institutions are short-handed. As Red Cross staff aides, your help is of great value. The disabled servicemen and veterans in our hospitals present a challenge to the Gray Ladies, who since the First World War have served them with rare devotion. These untiring volunteers continue to give personal service to individual patients, doing much to add to their comfort and to make their hours brighter and the days more livable. The Gray Lady serves in civilian hospitals too, where her friendly presence is most welcome. Many more volunteers are needed for this admirable service. Working as an office manager by day and volunteering as a Gray Lady several nights a week is not easy. But this thoughtfulness brings untold joy to those living in homes for the aged. Often, when a critical situation at home disturbs a serviceman, the Red Cross field director communicates with the man's hometown chapter. Social welfare aides give assistance in untangling such problems. In disaster emergencies, people of all kinds, rich and poor alike, need help. Social welfare aides are active in refugee work. If you are handy with needles or tools or have special skills, you will be welcomed in production and supply service. Clothing, bandages, bed tables, books, radios, disaster supplies. Volunteers keep materials flowing from the community to federal installations and civilian institutions and for emergencies. Many other articles are made by Junior Red Cross in the schools. College students do their part. When disaster strikes, Red Cross is ready with good food, cooked and served by canteen service, wholesome, spirit-lifting. Every day, canteens are open at blood centers, serving the donors, and every day in hospitals and institutions, and at estates and homes made available by generous, understanding citizens. Canteen service provides that little extra homey touch in many people's lives. To the hobbyist, to those gifted in the arts, and to craftsmen, a call goes out, for you are wanted in numbers. Volunteers in arts and skill service bring to the handicapped relief from dreary hours, helping them to find fresh interests in life, often starting disabled persons on creative, worthwhile hobbies. Other volunteers are needed to give instruction to patients in federal and civilian hospitals. All types of instruction are needed. It may be a class in stenography, maybe mathematics or bookkeeping, foreign languages, even animal husbandry. And see who's back with us. The call for expanded armed forces has again sent your sons and brothers to join the colors. It's a new life for most of them. Sure, they think of home. Sometimes they'll even admit it's pretty hard not to get a bit homesick. Entertainment and off-duty hours would help greatly. More volunteers are needed right now, individuals and organizations from nearby communities, to help entertain soldiers, sailors, and airmen on the post during leisure hours. Dances like these are made possible through the volunteer time contributed by college students and business girls. Red Cross also arranges entertainment for the sick and the disabled. Volunteers go from ward to ward under hospital supervision, repeating their acts. And here is an outdoor party. Stars of screen, stage, radio, and local talent give wholeheartedly of their time to spread laughs and cheer. Right here in your community, there are places that need this lift. By volunteering, you help Red Cross fill the need. Time is fleeting. In the hurry and bustle of modern life, time must be rationed, even for one's important personal duties. Yet Red Cross needs some of your hurried hours for pressing community service, needs them for friendly encouragement to neighbors for the moment less fortunate than you, needs your time and effort in the service of humanity. Did you ever consider how many hours you could give to help your fellow men? To better their well-being, to brighten their lives, to give them new confidence, to remind them that they are not forgotten. Many of your neighbors served as Red Cross volunteers before you. Others will carry on the work in years to come. But you are needed now, because the battle against human suffering is never ended. The hours you give can bring cheer to hundreds who need it. This is a big job for many people. It's your job, too. You will cherish always the important service you will render as a Red Cross volunteer. Many will rally to this call, among them someone you know. But remember, it can be you.
It's sure nice of you Red Cross volunteers to come way out here. It means a lot to us.
It's very nice of you to say that, Frank. It means a lot to us, too.